No, you're not God. You don't have the answers. You.
Sorry, that clip, bro. That "We're Not God's" clip from Tony Claude is probably one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. I don't know how I got through that stream, to be honest with you. Big up, everybody. Welcome back to the American Idiot Show. 98 episodes. We are 2 away from 100. And, of course, we are joined by the man himself, Matty the Southern Gooner, a friend of the show for damn near over 2 years now. Good Lord. Me and Matt have each other's phone numbers. We call each other whenever we have to educate. If I'm sitting in traffic, Matt will give me a call and be like, "Hey TJ, what's going on? Can I talk your ear off for a second?" And I'll be like, "Absolutely."
What did I tell you this year?
The same thing you told me last year when I was on my way back from the dentist. I remember. We're not winning shit.
I just want it on the record.
No, Matt, I don't think you've ever been one for delusion. But outside of football, how you doing before we get into that conversation?
Good, man. Doing good, man. All is well, man. All is well. Just getting used to this warm weather again. 91 degrees today.
91 degrees, dude. Send some of that up here. It's rainy as shit up here.
Bro, yeah. God, dang. We broke a record today. Yeah, 91.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Dal, how you doing, man? How's the weather in Oregon?
Hey, beautiful. It's not 91 degrees, but it's sunny and pretty clear out today. So weather's nice on that front. Everything's good. I just want to take a minute to say something to Deji. 16 losses. Thank you.
Okay, well, that's nice. We all know that Deji is a big fan of the channel. But we talk about teams and they also don't win anything, but we talk about we win season matches but still don't win anything. So I'm not gonna call us the spicy Tottenham, but I am gonna say we are winning exactly the same amount of trophies they are this season. So let's go ahead and talk about it, guys. As Americans, we get to get up early. Well, I don't know if Dal's gonna even bother with this one, but we get to get up early. We get to get up early and watch Moy's ball. We get to go watch his manager go into Goodison Park. I think this is one of the worst away records that he has at this club. I don't recall the last time we beat Everton away. I literally cannot remember. But how are we feeling? Obviously, we got Gabriel missing. We got Bukayo Saka back. Again, I don't want to see him in this match at all. If we're going to play him against Real Madrid, do not play him in this match. Arteta, I know you're watching. Do not play him in this match. If I see anybody but Yeri on that right side for any amount of time, I'm going to fucking lose it. I'm going to wake up my neighborhood at 7 a.m. and I live in a very nice neighborhood, and they will probably call the cops, which will upset my wife very much. But yeah, Maddie, how you feeling about this this run in, especially, give your thoughts on Everton, and then we can kind of shift over to Real Madrid and just kind of see where this goes.
I'm ready for the Premier League season to be over. It's real talk, man. I'm just ready for it to be over, man. It's done, man. This is done. It doesn't really matter what happens tomorrow as long as he doesn't play the starters,
Yeah.
But he's gonna play everybody because that's who this manager is. Did you hear him in the press conference say he's not playing anybody? No, he's gonna play the play. You might get a Jorginho out there. But you might get a Jorginho. You might get a Tierney somewhere, a Tierney site. But for the most part, he's gonna play the same team because that's who he is. This manager is gonna play soccer. He'll probably come in as a sub again, and then he's gonna turn him loose on Real Madrid. He's gonna let him go for a whole full game. Watch what I tell you. Ethan's gonna start tomorrow. It'll be the same lineup as it was the other night, outside of Magalhaes, who is done for the year. It'll be Kibio there. And Kibio's going to be there when we play Real Madrid. So, we all knew this. So, I don't know why people are shocked and surprised because we didn't have the depth from the start. So, we knew if anybody went down that was who, this is the bench that was coming in. So, we're done.
Right.
We're done. Tomorrow, it'll be a nice, simple draw. It'll be Moyes' ball all the way through. It'll be the normal 1, 2, 3 balls through the middle, over the top, and we'll give up a goal, and we'll score 1. It might even be 2-2 tomorrow, but I'm not expecting much out of this team for the rest of the year, to be honest with you.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. Dal, how are you feeling about it, bro?
I agree with Maddie 100%, but that he's going to play the players we don't need to play. That's the thing. Right now, he's given a golden opportunity. Right, the opportunity is sitting in Arteta's lap right now. You can play the kids against Everton, save the starters for Madrid. It's like we make these decisions when we play fucking FIFA and Football Manager, right? I mean, look at before I was on the show with Aaron and Jez and Carl, Gun Down was going over the games where Saka and Gabriel have stayed on for multiple minutes, 78th minute, 83rd minute, PSV.
Yeah.
Sporting Lisbon, the demolishing I think we did of West Ham earlier in this season. We get to this 3-0, 4-0 level, and he's still keeping the main players on. Why? The squad is so short, and it's his own doing of why the squad is short as well, right?
I don't even think the squad is short. He just doesn't trust the players. Like if the squad is short, it's his own problem.
All the players that we have on the bench are left backs and left backs.
Yeah, left backs and youth players that we can stick up at number 9.
Yeah, exactly. Right now, if he wants to go put the youth player Nathan up there, because we sold Kika Obi to Man United. If he wants to put this Nathan kid up there, I'm all for it. If he wants to put one area up there, I'm kind of half and half on it, because if he gets crocked, what are we going to do for Madrid? But Maddie's right. He's going to play the same fucking 11 that we've seen week in and week out. They're going to feel overrun, except for Kiwior, and then I think we're going to be a little bit short come Tuesday. If somebody if he plays Timber and Timber's injury gets worse, because we know he's got a knock, then the Madrid is out of the question. We will not beat Madrid or draw with Gabriel and Timber out. It ain't going to happen. Ben White ain't going to be ready. He's not good enough. He's not going to be able to chase Vinny up and down the right side. He's not going to. I don't think Ben White's even match fit yet, to be honest.
No, he's not.
So,
he's not. And shocker, he got injured in training. Go ahead, Matt.
Right.
No, he's not. He's not. And that's what I told somebody yesterday. He hadn't played a competitive game of football since last year that I can remember. Now I might be wrong in that, but since
he came on and won. He came on in I think he came on in that rubber match against PSV. I'm pretty sure. Well,
that's right, because I didn't watch it. Me and Lee was watching the other game.
Yeah, the two.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
But yeah, I mean, look at. He's not ready to go up and down that pitch like Dale said with Vinny and Rodrigo and all having to deal with that. You're asking for trouble doing that. This manager is going to go with Kiwior. Now, what's interesting about all this is 2 years ago, when I was complaining about Kiwior needs to be moved on, we need to move him on. This fan base was saying, "Oh, well, he's good to go. What are you complaining about? The bench is fixed. We don't have any issues." Now, all of a sudden, the same players that are coming into this lineup, now everybody's, "Oh, well, man, what is he coming in for? What are we doing with him?" These are the players that have habitually sat on this bench, and when they are called upon, not been able to get the job done. And this manager is up these fellas to the massive wages, and extended contracts and what have you. And now we're suffering the price because we're not prepared. And I told people from the beginning of the year, I said, this team is not prepared to do anything at all this season because we did not go out into the summer. We did not take into account that we were in all these competitions. This tells me this also should tell everybody something else too. They didn't even think we were going to get this far, because if they would have had the common sense and the foresight to see that we would even get this far, you would at least say, you know what, let's have some extra players. Let's get a marquee sign in case we get far in the Champions League. We should be having world-class players to deal with world-class players. See, what's going to happen is Saka's going to come in this game. He's going to overexert himself. And there's a high possibility he may not be available for the semifinal or the final. That's not ass backwards. Now, I keep telling everybody, let's say, what happens if we get past Real Madrid? and then Saka's not able to play. So what are you gonna say then? Who's gonna come in and be the savior then? What, Moreno? Because he's on a purple patch. He scored these 6 tap-in, these tap-in,
happens.
You know, seriously. So for me, I think that we're going to be in the first game. Well, we're going to be in. I know I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but I think we're going to be in the first game against Real Madrid, and then they're going to pull away in the second game, just like they do with everybody else. They're going to lull us to sleep. Hell, I'll tell you this: if they get 2 goals in the first leg, you can go ahead and
it's over.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Don't even bother. Don't even bother getting the freaking visas ready. Don't even bother.
It's like Newcastle.
Don't even bother.
Get 2 goals, you can just go ahead and just pack it in, because then it's all bets off. And then that's when you have to really question yourself. Well, if they get a 3rd goal at the Bernabeu, are you going to leave Saka out there another, risk him again? So for me, this season's lost. I'm really frustrated because we were in the Carabao Cup. We were there. We had a seat at the table. You look at the FA Cup and see how it's played out. We could have had a seat at the table, and now you're looking here in the quarterfinals, where if you had enough of the proper players, you could probably give Real Madrid a run at it. And now we still don't have a seat. We're coming up short again. And then the Premier League is a disgrace. Now that's a disgrace in itself to be done with the Premier League in February. Out of all the years I've watched Arsenal, I've never seen us out the title race in February, in the beginning of February.
Yeah, like not a prayer. Exactly. No, exactly. And that's another thing. So no, I want to ask you guys a question though, because I think there's a lot of bias around these injuries, because a lot of top gooners are using it as an excuse. Shout out to my guy Egal. I don't understand where people get off thinking that we would be any better without the injuries. Yeah, we might have won a game or 2 more, but we would still be too far behind Liverpool to catch them, in my opinion. And we don't take these cups seriously enough. Put Saka in against Newcastle. Maybe we could have gotten something done, but our record, even with Saka in the lineup at St. James Park, is not that great. So my question to you guys is with these injuries, do you think it's any different? Do you think the story is any different without the injuries?
I think, for my sake, I think Gabriel's kind of a bigger miss than Saka.
No, he is. He is, because then your whole set piece FC myth goes away.
Well, that's been gone.
He's not there.
December.
He's not there. It's
been gone since November or December anyway, right? He hasn't scored a set piece.
But people are marking him. That's the thing. People started marking him out of the game. He was the only person that could do that. So, but I don't want to see this whole set piece FC Tony Pulis Stoke City bullshit anymore. Like, we're not. It was a fun joke while it lasted, but there's no prayer of that working anymore. Now it's just going to be flicks and tricks over the box, hoping that we can get past Rudiger with that.
Right,
like,
and that's the thing. See, here's the thing with Madrid. I don't feel we have the squad to put the ball on the carpet and pass it along the lines against Madrid. That's the thing. So it's like we're going to have to resort to some sort of long ball tactic against Madrid. We are not going to tiki-taka through their midfield and through their defense. That's not going to happen. Even they don't have to bring Mbappe back. They don't bring Rodrigo and Vinny back. They keep all 3 at the halfway line. They don't even defend. So there's part of me, it's like, if Saka is fully fit, I mean, we know he's going to play him, right? Obviously. So that's a given. Right. So might as well just turn the page on that. He's going to play against Madrid. And like Maddie said, he'll probably play tomorrow. I'm not so sure he plays tomorrow. If he does, he maybe makes a brief cameo. If he starts, I'm going to be so fucking pissed I won't even watch it. I'm not going to watch it anyway. But if he starts, that's criminal, right? If Saka goes on there in the 80th minute, gets 10 minutes to warm up his muscles, get a few touches, I'm fine with that, because he's already did it. At the end of the day, I'm with Maddie and Lee Gunn and the rest of the real ones. He shouldn't be touching a ball till August, right? He really should not be touching a ball till August. That's where I really stand. But that's fucking that dam has been broken, So here we are, right? And the thing is if we're missing Gabriel, the fucking spine is gone. The spine is gone. The base of the spine is gone. Yeah, right, exactly. I'm not getting up at 4:30 to
you guys are starting to convince me. Oh my god.
Don't do it, bro. 6:30 in the morning to watch that crap. Like, I'm not doing a 6:30 review, bro. I'm sorry. I'm going back to bed. But the thing is that it's just the spine's removed, and because he's overplayed. And like I said on Aaron's show, how did Gabriel get hurt? In transition, because they're playing too far up the pitch, right? It works well against Holland because he can't run the half the length of the pitch, right? Well, he can, but not with the ball at his feet accurately. He's not Henry. He's not Mbappe. He's not Salah, right? So you can press Holland at the halfway line, but you can't press players like Raul Jimenez. You can't press players like Mbappe or even Beto at some point. Beto gets a touch, he will go right around Kiwior, right? And that's going to be the problem.
No,
Beto is shit. Beto is shit. I get it. But if we play that high line and we're, again, chasing the ball against Everton, United, Chelsea, God forsake it's going to happen against Madrid, we're done, right? And Gabriel is hurt in transition, running backwards again. And I'm saying he's hurt again. But that's how I see a play. There's a pattern to it, right? For defenders to get hurt. It's because they're running like mad to get back and they pull something.
Let me tell you, I don't know.
Do that.
I don't know if anybody paid any attention. Me and Lee the other night, we did a breakdown of that. And you should have seen Martin Odegaard in that game. If you have not watched it, go back and watch Martin Odegaard in that football game. It is an absolute disgrace. He should be removed from this football club in the summer. We should move and find better because the displays that I've seen, he is absolutely not what we need. It is a disgrace. And as Dal said, that actually played a part in the injury as well. We're turning the ball over. Gabriel Magalhaes is moving. And then not only that, they're playing the ball, as he's calling to come off, and then he has to get up and defend, which therefore is what I believe probably aggravated it.
Yep.
It made it even worse.
He made it even worse. And so now you see how foolish we look. This is just a snapshot of this season. That all of this that we saw the other night was a snapshot of the season. Just the carnage that we've seen all year long with this football club. And I told people before we went on break, gentlemen, I said, we're coming off an international break against Fulham. That ain't good. And lo and behold, we get players injured right out the gate.
Yeah. Fulham, you look at names on the sheet, kind of mid, so forth. But these players are dedicated to the system. They're dedicated to what the manager is trying to do. I still think there's issues in the dressing room behind the scenes that is not really positive of Arteta. And players wondering what's going to happen from one weekend to the next sometimes. Well, I don't think everyone is still buying in the system, right? The system seems to be working, right? We're getting second place in some ways, but we're still not getting it over the line. And this will play in the players' heads. And even the thing is, if we get past Madrid, if the stars align, there'll be justice for our club. Shout out Tony Claude. If the grace of God, we get past
Mama
Madrid,
Flossie.
I just, big up Mama. I just don't see what the cost will be, right?
Well,
what is going to happen after that Madrid game, and what is I know we'll go through obviously, but it's just what's going to be the psychology at the club. I'm really curious because it's still not one of winning anything yet.
Well, yeah, here's my thoughts on it. I think that the players are going to start to turn very soon.
Right.
I think I see it already. We talked about this a lot, Dal, when we're talking about how far our center backs are playing up the pitch, how far our fullbacks are playing up the pitch, inverting and overlapping, trying to help everybody out. And then all of a sudden, when we get countered, they're pulling hamstrings and snapping ACLs, trying to get back and recovering the ball. It happens when we get countered. It's long for us because we're possession based, and it finally was too much for Gabriel. I think it's too much for Timber. Timber is one of my favorite players. I think he was one of our absolute players of the season this season. I think he's not talked about enough for what he does up the pitch, and what he does in the defensive side of the pitch. But what Arteta is asking him to do, especially coming off of the injury that he had last season, is too much. It's too much. So at what point? And I knew we were going to get onto the manager about this because there's the style of play. this whole possession, no potency in the final third deal has to be done, has to be getting old to these players. It has to be. So my question again, I'm gonna sit here and continue to be Jay Leno.
Sure.
What needs? I mean, obviously we all want Arteta out, but what needs to change at the football club? I think Andrea Berta is a good move, and I want to get your guys' opinion on him as well. But what needs to change in our style of play in order to start getting us over the line? Like I said this after the Fulham match. Fulham didn't play that well. Like let's be real, they didn't look threatening to us once or twice. Like they weren't that good. Right. Either were we, which exposes Martin Odegaard even more. Like this guy, I agree. Replace him with Ethan Nwaneri, somebody that's going to get in there and get absolutely. Yeah, I am pissed off. And the more I talk, I'm going to get more pissed off. To be honest,
the anger rises as we continue with the show.
The anger rises the more I think about it, because the amount of hours that we're going to spend over the summer talking about transfers and all filling the same old bullshit that we've needed to fill for the last 2 or 3 years. Hopefully the sporting director's coming in here and isn't going to jerk us around like the last freaking Brazilian mariachi singer that we had, freaking Fogo de Chao fucking sporting director that we were talking about. If you know, you know, Dal. Yeah. Anyway, all I'm going to say is look, I want to ask you guys.
Right.
This is a two-parter. What needs to change at the club for style in terms of a style of play? And if that involves the manager, obviously, I think we all agree that it does. And what can Berta do to extend that? And are you guys excited about it? I'm excited about it. His hire. You're on mute. You're muted, Manny.
Go ahead, Manny.
I'll tell you exactly what needs to happen. He needs to sack this manager. This manager needs to be sacked in the summer, and that'll the morale go tenfold. That's step one. Step two, at this stage, I have more trust in him bringing in quality players. Yeah, I know he struck out on 1 or 2 at Atletico Madrid. Most, everybody has a strikeout or 2, but when you've had a manager that struck out on about 7, 9, 8, 10 players and goalkeepers galore. Right. Of course, anything that Berta do will be welcome, because at least I know for a fact he knows what he's doing. He sat down and watched that same game that we watched. Have you noticed something? In the press conference today, did he bring up Berta today? Because I hadn't watched look at the press conference. Did Berta's name come up at all today?
Not once.
Not once. This is what I'm talking about. People thought I was crazy a couple weeks ago when I kept saying, "Yeah, Berta's coming here to clean this up." And everybody's then he comes in. You don't see him pictured with him when he comes in. You don't see him talking before the game. You see Berta off by himself. Now you come today. No, there's no questions about him in the press conference. He's not even talking about he's looking forward to working with him in the summer. He's not even alluding that they've even started looking at players.
Right.
Nothing. Zero. Nil. Zilch. So this tells me that Berta is here independent of Mikel Arteta. So that means that Arteta's on the clock. This Berta is coming into town. You know what the most important thing about this gentleman? He has seen how he has mismanaged these players in one game. He saw Timber come off that pitch to get turned right back to go back on it. Berta saw that from in the stands.
Mm-hmm.
So that tells you he's going to take a note of that.
Yep.
He's going to look over at Magalhaes. He's going to look at that.
He was taking note.
3 players, all with the same injury in the same calendar year, with an injury that has a 3% chance of happening. Grade 3 tears, 3, 4 in the same season.
That's crazy.
So what does that tell you? That's
beyond faith.
Player personality, player personnel. Look, we all watch the NFL. How many grade 3 hamstrings do we see in professional football? Bro, you don't even see that.
Much.
Not many, man. I think they might.
No, you don't.
Right.
And maybe it's maybe 1 or 2 all. It's maybe 3 or 4
more linemen
throughout the league,
bro.
Right.
So when you see 4 on one team, that tells me they've been overworked.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
this manager is becoming, not only is he becoming an issue when it comes to game planning, it's becoming an issue. In these press conferences, his press conferences this year have been a monumental stinker.
Awful. Yes, yes, we have spoken about that.
Then
Exactly.
you look at his behavior on the pitch. You know, you look at his behavior with these players, and then you look at him in pressure situations, which he struggled with ever since he's been here. The gig is up, fellas. The time is up. The time for Arteta is come and gone. It's time for this football club to move on. It's time for him to go find success somewhere else, and it's time for us to move in another direction. But the reality of the situation is he's here for another year, and I think that the whole year is not going to be at his fingertips this year. I think next year he's going to be on a very, very, very short leash. He's going to have 15, possibly 25 games to get it right. And Berta's going to provide him with the proper tools, not the tools he wants. He'll have the proper tools. He may get one of his players, but Berta's going to be out there looking for proper tools to get the job done, like for like replacements.
Right.
So there will be no excuse. Now, I know our top gooners love to say, well, next year, but after there will be no excuse next season about this football club. Mark my words on that, gentlemen. Right. Next year is the final year. It's the final countdown.
Dude, we were saying that last season. No, we were saying that last season. They're going to come up with another.
Do you see how close it's getting? Hold on, TJ. Wait a minute. I'm gonna do the Tony Clark. Wait a minute, TJ. Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. We are not. Wait a minute.
Do you see what's happened since last year?
Hold on.
You're not God. You don't.
Yeah. You don't have the answers. Last season, I know I said Arteta was gonna be was getting close, but look, Edu's gone.
Yep.
Vinay is gone.
Yep.
He's isolated. He's isolated. The managers have become isolated. Tim Lewis. They went Tim Lewis. They are bringing people in to circle. They're circling the wagon. And it's just like I told the guys the other night. Do you think that they're going to sack Berta before they sack Arteta?
Hell no.
No, they just brought Berta in.
To fix everything.
Yeah, so no, they're not getting rid of him. The next problem is that we got another issue is the manager. Because now you're going to granted, there's still going to be $1 billion spent between now and next season. Or close to it, or right at it.
For sure.
So the money is still there that's been spent. So they're going to have to go back and look at this thing, which is why I think in January, gentlemen, well, everybody was talking about Joshua. That's what I call him. Joshua come over, and they said, "Oh, he's talking to Arteta. He's making signings." No, he was getting Berta lined up and sorted out. What I think happened last season was we at the end of the season, everybody took an assessment. We finished second twice. We're on the doorstep. Mikel, great job. You're doing well, man. Let's go ahead and tie you down. I feel like we're going in the right direction. What do you think you need? Oh, I just need, enough to get a striker. He goes out and buys 2 defensive players and gets Sterling on loan. Right. So Edu had to clean that up. Edu saw what was coming. He said, "Oh, well, you know what? I know I screwed up, but to hell with this. I just, I'm out of here." Then he leaves. Injuries started mounting. Get to January. Fans were clamoring. Did y'all hear it in January? Let's go back. I know we're in April now, but let's go back to January. What did y'all hear? Y'all heard Rashford. Y'all heard names that the folks would call it for names that they weren't even talking about in the summer. They just wanted somebody. The manager did not even get a free signing. Right. Think about that.
Well, remember, Matty, we came in 20 million under Ollie Watkins as well, like we always do. 60 million.
That was a PR. I swear to God, that was a PR move. We weren't serious about that.
TJ, think about it, gentlemen. Not even a free player that they come in for a couple of months. They're out of here. Did not even get a free player. So that tells me that the brass has said, hell no. We're going to wait until this new sporting director comes in, and that's it. And I'll use this to back it up. I've said this to dilute it the other day. Don't you think that if they wanted to get his man or somebody that was a yes man, they would have got Ato? Because he was already in the building. So if you want to get the best available, get the man that's going to suit him, you're going to go get Ato. It's the easiest. He can manipulate him. No. What do? They when they got somebody completely independent of this manager. They don't even know each other. Which makes it even better because that means that it's easier for him to, as Norsky said, when they go time to go across that back room and he reaches over him. And he don't move. Just breathe.
Let it happen.
Just breathe. Hey, y'all. And then he just goes like this. Look at the microphone. Just goes just like this. And it's over with. And it's over with. And he's out of here.
Accomplice to murder, bro.
And Simeone or some world-class manager, we'll actually get a world-class manager who I don't know, but we'll actually get a manager worth a damn when this one leaves. Now, I don't care. I don't give a damn about what Top Gunners do about backing this next manager, but the next manager will come in the door, will be somebody that can get the job done. Because we're at a stage now where if they don't get it done, start getting it done within the next 2 years, we're going to have a full-on rebuild. Soccer, let me tell y'all something that I brought up yesterday. And I know I'm rolling.
Roll.
Okay. Let me tell you what I brought up. This is something that nobody said. I meant to say it last night with Lee, but I'm going to give it to my American compadres right here. Watch this. Bukayo Saka, if this manager messes around, watch this now. I'm gonna do y'all like I do Tony. Everybody come here. Put your head up. Come on, TJ. Put it up here. If this manager messes around with these games and Saka's out for another extended period of time, he's gonna put his World Cup place in jeopardy. How do you think he's gonna respond to that when it's time to re-sign a contract? How do you think that's going to go down? These players are going to a World Cup year next year.
Soccer to Liverpool in July.
Yeah, these players are going into a World Cup. World Cup next year. You think they're for the risk? You think they're for to get rid of risk? Some of them, the only chance they'll get in a World Cup because some of these players ain't gonna be in the next one.
Yeah, so, and especially the English players, like this is their next golden generation is starting to get a little old in the tooth.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they're going to be turning things over a little bit. So there's a lot at stake at this football club in the next 6 months to a year.
For sure.
I mean, would I like for us to beat Real Madrid? Of course, I'm an Arsenal fan through and through. I like Real Madrid as well, but push come to shove, I'm rolling with Arsenal all day. So I would love for us to beat Real Madrid, but Real Madrid is not the semifinal of the final. So yeah, we can get past Real Madrid, but they still got a ways to go.
Right.
And what happens when it's time when it's time for crunch time? We tend to drop the ball, and that's what we've done consistently throughout this year and under the tenure of this manager. Much as I would like for us to beat Real Madrid, we just don't have enough tools. Yeah, Saka's there, and I said that on my fan camera lead the other day. Shout out to Don Hussein. I told
big up Don Hussein.
I told Lee on the fan cam. I said, when you see Saka come off the bench, instant impact. I said we need about 4 players that can provide instant impact in the game at a moment, just like that. That's what we need. We don't have that. When you play a team like Real Madrid, you have to have that. You have to have it.
Yeah.
Because the times that when Real Madrid attacks, gentlemen, when they go, they're in. The chances that Fulham had, like Moon is missing that point blank header. If that's Mbappe,
he ain't gonna miss that.
He ain't missing it. If that's Jude, he ain't missing it. If it's Vinny, he ain't missing it. If it's Rodrigo, he ain't missing it.
Valverde.
Valverde ain't missing it. Rudiger ain't
Modric, Camavinga.
The goalkeeper coming off the line like he was the other night.
The groundsman.
Courtois will be back, by the way. He will be back.
Did y'all see? Did you see Raya when it was close towards the end of the game. I can't remember exactly what minute it was, but they were on a counterattack, and Raya was scrambling. He was almost about to fall, getting back into the goal. He can't be doing that against Real Madrid on Tuesday night. All this going all the way up the pitch, trying to pass the ball, all this good stuff. The camera pans over, you see Raya in the screen. You're like, well, what's going on here? Why is he up so high? What's going on here? Everything that we've gotten away with against other teams, we're not going to be able to do it against Madrid because they'll expose us. Any team that we play after this, going forward in this tournament, is going to exploit every single frailty that we have. And Kivior is going to be one of the biggest ones because what happened? I'll give you a little history lesson. What happened when we played Liverpool? Kivior was in the team. What happened when we played Brighton? Kivior in the team. What happened? We're in European games and Kivior's in the team. It's always a calamity. He's just like Scalacci. You remember you could never trust
Rob Holding.
Yeah, Rob Holding.
I don't know if he's as bad as Rob Holding, but Scalacci.
Rob
Holding was so fucking bad, dude. No,
I trust Rob Holding. I trust Rob Holding over Kivior.
Rob Holding is like when you like that. It's like this. One is just slightly better.
Like he's like Kivior is slightly better. I'm not saying, but I just can't stand it. I think my hate for Rob Holding is just still holding on, to be honest. And there's no pun intended there.
It should infuriate y'all to just look and just think about if we had actual 4 or 5 players that was worth a damn in this team. If we'd had Jokers in this team, or we had Osman, if we had just somebody that just certified, a Batman. Life is a lot easier, because Real Madrid can be scored on. The problem is we can be scored on too. That's the problem.
Yeah.
No, and that's the thing though, Maddie, and I keep making this point over and over again. So these people that are getting all excited because you see Atletico Madrid put up 4 goals over 2 legs in the Copa del Rey. All of these people getting excited about that need to calm down because these guys play each other all the time. Atletico Madrid's attack is so much more dynamic than ours. Like, just go and watch La Liga. It's completely – they might as well be playing a completely different game.
Did you see Leganes the other night? Leganes.
Yes.
Real Madrid scored. They still had the stats on the screen about Mbappe scoring. Leganes scored 1, 2, 3, 4 pass.
The Real Sociedad game was mad last week.
Yes.
And it was a 4-3 or something like that.
English football is so inferior to Spanish football.
This is
the explore. People,
and this is exactly what I'm saying. The ball movement that we have in the final third, and the personnel that we have in the final third.
Did you see?
If we get 2 over 2 legs, I'll be shocked.
Let me see if I can find this.
And that's what I was saying, TJ. Like you were talking about, part of your 2-part question was our style of play, right? Well, our style of play is, essentially, in my eyes, your style of play is defined mostly by your opponent, right? You do research on your opponent, you figure out the ins and outs, their weaknesses and strengths, and then you provide, a system for that game, right? But you still have the overarching system of play, right? And to me, you got to go to the Wenger handbook, bro. You got to move the ball on the carpet. You can't continuously be playing balls looping in from to the box every other time you have possession, right? And Rudiger, it's going to be so easy for their center backs and for any center backs, and even in the Premier League, maybe not Ipswich or Southampton, but Everton. If you want to take it back to Everton this weekend, big up Common Sense. I just feel like you need to get the Wenger playbook out. Learn to pass the ball through the midfield. Learn to help support each other. And
I don't think we have the player. I don't think we have the personnel to do that now. But
I think we do at certain times, right? I think Odegaard is that type of player. Like if you go 10, 15 years ago, if Odegaard was 25, 26, then you would say he's a silky player that can move the ball correctly up the right way. Don't say that now. He still wants to say to me. Yeah, good luck, bro. But my point is, I'll let you jump in, Maddie, real quick.
Yeah,
like you were saying, that our system of play is really now identified and stylized by fucking Allardyce ball. Because we don't have a target man in Marino. We know that is mobile enough to move into positions in between the lines. And this is what, since we put that donkey up there, I've been saying it since day one. You have to have a mobile striker center forward that can run, vertically up the pitch from left to right and back, receive the ball with their back to goal, make the turn, all those things a striker should do. Why do we have this idiot up there who, okay, he can hold the ball up? Fair enough. That's just part of what a striker is supposed to do. And the thing is that he knows Martinelli's better. And that's where I get the up and the fucking anger at is I know Arteta knows better. He knows Martinelli is the perfect slot right now to play striker because he can run. We saw his game against Fulham was fantastic. His little Van Damme, scorpion assist, right? And that's another thing. If that's Havertz can't do that. And if Havertz is in the soccer position, Havertz ain't scoring that fucking goal. And Havertz ain't scoring the goal Marino did because Marino did tiki-taka through the defenders and it went off his hip. And so it's like, again, we've wasted money on Moreno. We've wasted money on Havertz. We still don't have the top goal scorer that can do the Arsene Wenger type of play, TJ. We don't have the manager that can get, or the players that can get the ball on the carpet and pass it around. We just don't have that. We're relegated to pushing the ball out wide, hoping Martinelli can whip one across with his head up, right? Which his head has been up a lot more in Fulham, which we noticed. And so hopefully Saka's fit enough to get on the end of them. At the end of that, bro, we don't have a real stylistic way to move the ball from the back to the final third.
I got one for you. I got one for you. The goal that we scored against Fulham the other night. Do y'all know how many passes it took?
7?
Yeah, I don't recall.
The Moreno goal or the second goal?
Yeah, which one are you talking about?
The Moreno goal.
Okay.
There's a lot of passes, I think.
I want to be sure right quick.
If he doesn't move that ball, Matty, in the box with the outside of his foot and get around those defenders, he doesn't score. And that's my point.
Yeah.
Havertz doesn't have the footwork and the technical ability to do that. Moreno can do that in midfield all day long. Moreno, is he a bad player? Not really. He's mid, but I'd rather have him of left mid than Kai Havertz. And that's the other thing we haven't talked about. We get Gyökeres in or Sesko or a striker. Fucking Havertz is going to left mid, bro.
Havertz is going to left mid, or he's going to be the answer at right wing. Watch
Moreno goal. The Moreno goal.
Right.
How many passes it took?
27.
50.
50.
We can't score from open play. We cannot put the ball on the rug and pass it around. Like Man City, I've been struggling.
$50 million.
Man City, we know Man City struggled, right? But they can keep the ball on the carpet. And that's they don't have to do like they did Holland's first season when they were playing, Allardyce ball, getting into Holland, and that's why he scored 50 goals. And then they go back to pragmatism and carpet. Right.
Dallas, it's pragmatism and it's non-invention.
He has the players to do that.
Yeah. It's pragmatism at its worst. Like, this is why I can't stand this manager system sometimes. Yeah, we can play all this ball all you want, but it's so risk averse that it's boring and it doesn't result in anything most of the time. That's my biggest problem is we are
you know what, TJ?
Have a job because football doesn't sustain even in the championship. We make fun of teams doing it, right? We made fun of ourselves. And when he was at Blackburn and Bolton, he tried to save West Ham. It was always long balls, but that does work when you have a proper target man. Like if we had Gyökeres, I have no problem with Saliba delivering long balls to Gyökeres. Shoot, man.
Dale, you know what the crazy part about it is? You're like 50 passes.
Crazy.
You're not gonna get 50 passes again. That's 50 passes to get one opportunity.
Yeah.
That's you're wasting 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
To get one opportunity and hope you score. This is why
against Fulham, who's only good defensive players, Anthony Robinson. Keep going.
If you think about it, if you just now that we've got a body of work for the season, a large body of work, this is why it's normally 1-1, 1-0, 2-1.
Bro,
1,
remember
we can barely. This is why we waste time.
Wenger set the blueprint, bro. Wenger set the blueprint. You know this, Matty.
Yeah.
You get the ball out wide. You cut inside. You don't need to invert a left back or right back.
Yeah, you only need 4. You only need how many times
goes back and they rotate, and then you hit your striker out on the left side.
How many times have we watched
Football 101?
We went back the other night, and every time Fulham had a chance, it was 3 to 4 passes. They were in our box.
Yes.
Now, if Fulham is going 1, 2, 3, 4, what is Madrid going to do? One long ball over the top.
You're right.
One rollout from Couture. I'm telling you, y'all are going to see it. And people think I trust me. I watch enough Madrid to know that the attack is going just like that. Just like that. So it's going to be like that the entire game. And you know for a fact that we are not going to be able to sit there and weather that kind of storm. I went back
the ball.
It was either me and Lee or me and Aaron. It might have been Aaron. It was matter of fact, it was me and Aaron went back the other night, and we were watching the Man City game where we drew. Not the one we won, the one we drew.
The 2-2.
Yeah,
the great defensive display at the end. 2
shots. They had 3 or 4 passes.
Right.
Shot off post. Another 4 passes. Shot off the post. Now that's supposed to be the most baddest Manchester City team known to man.
Right.
Then I went back and we went back to preseason and we watched Liverpool. We played Liverpool. 3 passes. Salah was in. Goal.
Yeah.
Long. Aston Villa, second game of the season. 1, 2, 3 pass. Should have scored. He missed.
Bro, I think that's been a theme for several.
We also had Zinchenko playing left back against Salah.
Right.
So.
That's been. I gotta admit that's been a common theme for our opponents for many seasons now, even into the late Wenger years. Right. We saw it because they know our defense can be got at. Back when we had Mustafi and Koscielny, they were doing that, Matty. Right. Yeah. Those half-arcing balls that come in, and again, all of a sudden we're on the back foot and having to track back. And I want to say something. I said there's all these injuries happen tracking back. Obviously, that didn't happen to Saka. It happened when he was in the attacking third, right? And he got it pulled outside the box. So he wasn't tracking back. But the thing is that when we get caught in transition, it's done. And the thing is that we're so used to having that close off, right? We're used to having Gabriel and Saliba just close off the opposition in their own half. And that's going to be tactically impossible with Kiwior there, right? And like Betty's saying, all Vinny has to do is not even go that far out, right? If he makes a 45-degree diagonal run with Ben White at right back, the middle's going to collapse, right? The middle is going to collapse, and that's where the problem is. And then the whole box gets bigger, right? Because everything's centered around just in front of the penalty spot. So, if he makes that diagonal run and does his step overs and shit, Ben White's going to be on his ass, and that whole left side's going to be wide open, and he's going to take it far post. I've seen it 1,000 times this season and the season before, because I watch Madrid as well. You can see the scarves in the back: Madrid, Arsenal, and Timbers, right? So, I've watched this team as much as I can, not as much as Arsenal, obviously, but literally as much as I can, and there's no way we're passing it through them, dude. It's going to have to be wing play. High balls out the back.
I said the way Aaron said it. Aaron said, we got to hope that we're off by an inch or two and they don't see it. You got to hope that something comes off the bar. You got to hope there's a deflection. You got to hope the goalkeeper has a howler on a set piece. You got to hope that we get awarded the penalty.
Somebody else makes mistakes.
We got to hope that, we hope. Y'all know what hope is. We know what that is. Y'all know.
Hashtag hope strategy.
Hope strategy. You gotta hope. We gotta implement the hope strategy against Real Madrid. The problem with this is, if it was a one-off game, I'd say, we take a shot at them. Yeah. But when you got 2 games against them, man,
and they know we're weak, but they know their research. They know their boy Gabriel, right? Brazilian. They know he's out injured. You don't think he's on the phone saying, texting Rodrigo and Vinny, be like, "Oh,
what's gonna make it worse?
He
I don't know, but he might be at the game at the Bernabeu, and he's gonna be sitting in them box seats, the plush box seats.
Yeah,
he's gonna be soaking that atmosphere in around him.
But the style of play, TJ, I think that was a great question you brought up just a little bit ago. Is that we really have to be honest, we don't have an identity in that. I believe we don't.
Well,
we haven't systematically destroyed teams unless it's fucking PSV or Lisbon or somebody, right? I mean, I think we did West Ham earlier in the season, but
yeah,
not as convincing as it was at the beginning of 2024, right? When we came out and scored 30 and only conceded 4 or 5, right? And that way, and we weren't having to play long ball. We were putting the ball on the carpet, and Saka was doing Saka things. Martinelli.
Well, we also had Gabriel Jesus, and for all all the shit that we give Gabriel Jesus, is that he does provide link up play in that 9 position. Like he can't go in there, he can't finish, but he can link up play, and that's thing that really frustrates me is that once you get rid of that link up play in the center of the park, it's done for us, and it's really boring because we have to try to work it in from the outside or flick in balls over the top in the final third to try to get anything generated. Like it's really tough to watch. And we keep talking about identity and Wenger ball and the Arsenal way and all these fucking buzzwords. Dude, just give me something that I can watch. Take a risk. Get somebody in the 9 position that I can actually move a ball. Have somebody run a channel. You know how many times I've yelled at Kai Havertz for hiding and not actually running the channel, and then when he does run the channel, he's a mile offside.
Too late, right?
Like, the guy is not good enough, and Mikel Moreno is not a 9, and you still have these guys that could potentially play a 9. We haven't seen Trossard in there in a minute. We haven't seen Martinelli in there in a minute. Like, why are we not giving these guys a chance? And I think that game against Fulham was a big boost for Martinelli. I bet you he is going to start against Real Madrid. He'll start against Everton, hopefully only 45 minutes. Start against Real Madrid.
If Arteta has any brains left in that fucking Lego head of his, he's going to play the Nathan, the 22-year-old Nathan kid. I can't think of his name. Shout out! I think he's from Senegal.
He'll play Raheem Sterling on the left tomorrow.
Hey, that's fine. Play Raheem Sterling tomorrow on the left. This game does not matter. Play Raheem on the left. Play the Nathan kid up there. If we had Chuba Opie still from the United,
who said plays Zinchenko? Yeah, those AFC.
Yes, he's not joking. He's not joking, bro. And always on the show earlier, he says we need Rice next to Saliba. And you know what? Always, I believe you. I think Declan Rice could be the center back against Madrid. We need energy, bro. We need energy, power, and vocalism against this, right? We need players that out there digging out each other, yelling at each other, getting on the back. Sorry. But that's what we need. We have to have aggression against this Real Madrid team. That will make them crumble because they're soft as butter too, bro. They don't like to get touched. They don't like tackled from behind. They don't like being pushed off the ball like we do. We have a sensibility about us. Madrid has that same sensibility. They are fragile on the ball. We've seen it this season. Matty would, I think, at times admit that because Sociedad are putting 3 or 4 of them, bro. You can get physical with this squad. You really can. I just don't. Again, the long balls to me aren't going to work, right? And we sure as hell aren't going to beat them with dribbling the ball, through the spaces and running in half spaces, whatever that means, and channels and shit, right? The real technical side of football, that ain't happening. But I want to see. I'm going to jump on your back for a second. The Arsene Wenger way is not a PR thing, okay? It is a defined style that he established Arsenal for 22 years that we have left kind of in the dust, right? And I see what you're saying. It's play the Wenger way. Well, there is a proof in the Wenger way, right? It's not a Fugazi.
Well, I know it's not a Fugazi or Fugazi, but that's a completely different generation now.
Style still remains, TJ. If you get the right players playing that style, I think we could be back to the old Arsenal again.
You know what the root of this is? You know what the root of this is, gentlemen? The root of this is we don't have the manager who has the know-how to pull something like that off. That's the problem. When he locks in on something, he locks in. Once he went away from what he did 2 years ago, he locked in on what he's doing now, and he can't see he cannot see for his life how to go to try something new. He's been horrified. How many times this season has he had a chance to change the formation? 4-2-3-1. You know, 5-5-3-2, 5-4-1.
Change it.
He's had all season long to change it. He doesn't know what to do. And Robo just said it. He has tunnel vision. He locks in. That's it. He's not changing anything. This is why I keep telling everybody he's gonna play the same. It would not shock me if he starts the whole team tomorrow. Wouldn't be surprised if he starts all the starters tomorrow against Everton.
Delusionally thinking that we can still produce something in the league with 9 games to go, 8 games to go.
Y'all remember earlier this year I said he was a psycho? I told y'all he was a psycho. And people laughed at me. I said
all the kids tomorrow. All of them.
He is a psycho. He locks in on stuff, and that's it. And then once he locks in, you can hang it up. And that's what's happened to him. That's happened in his career. You know why, right? Inexperience. He does not have the experience to get what you're asking for, Dale.
Right. Would you admit, Maddie, that he doesn't have the trust in half of a third of the squad? He doesn't.
You know what's damning about that too? You know what's damning about that? These are the players he bought. Most of these are the players he bought, and he don't even trust them. We watched the game. I can't remember what game it was last year. Me and Lee watched, and he looked down the bench. Y'all will probably remember. He looked down the bench. He turned around and looked. Yep. He just turned back around.
I remember that.
Down the ground.
Yeah. So these are $750 million. That's what he bought. So when he looks at that bench, or he don't trust his players, but these are the players you went out and researched and bought. These are the Kiviors, the Sammy Laconga.
I don't know about the research.
Fabios, you know.
Where was the research in authenticity? That's what I.
I'll tell you exactly where it was. It was at the bottom of a Happy Meal box. That's where the research was.
It was Cracker Jack box.
You remember? Hey, Dale, you remember this? You remember when we were kids and you used to go to Crystals, man, and used to get your crystals. They used to get the stickers. You remember the little stickers they used to get? What, Sheila the horse? Yeah. That's what.
I get stickers out of cereal boxes and put them on my pizza folder.
You know. So I mean, it's this thing. This is what I keep saying, and more people are gonna see this. More and more people. It's this thing with Berta's gonna go one or two ways. Either Arteta, which this is what I don't think it's gonna go this way, but I would love if it did go this way. I think Arteta's going to continue to do what he's doing. Berta's gonna bring the players, and he's still gonna flop. What I would like to see is Berta comes in, does what he does, Arteta gets better. That's what I would like to see. That would be the most optimum thing for me to see, is that Berta comes in, makes this man life a lot easier, makes him more efficient.
Right.
He's able to see things a little different. We're going on to success. You know, Arteta in to Arteta out. It is what it is. He adjusts. Everybody's happy. We win. We have success. That is what I would like to see. That is what I don't think we're going to see.
Right. I've said this before, and I know TJ said this, and Jez, etc., and you, Maddie, I think. You know, it's not about the manager being Spanish or what color skin is or where he's from or any xenophobia, shit like that. I just think that he was just the wrong hire, right? But if he gets better, right, then I'm all for it. But when you come out and say 3 horrific things in your, press conferences over this season, number one, I remember that the plates are trophies, right? And the other 2, I don't quite remember what he said, but one of them was like in January, December, just some asinine comment. I can't remember what it was off the top of my head. And then the one he came out with just a few weeks ago about something about not getting a strike, or Goicoechea was inconsistent, and we weren't looking at someone of that profile while we were playing Sporting Lisbon a while back. So he's made 3 drastic errors in just communicating what he's trying to do, right, or what he thinks he's achieved.
Big up, Ozzy.
Big up, Ozzy. I strongly feel he doesn't trust a third of this squad. And yes, Maddie, you're right. It's players he's bought, and he's going to have to lay down on these swords, because if Berta has any balls, Berta would make the suggestion to get rid of him immediately in September. If the first 4 weeks of the new season doesn't work out and we find ourselves 8th or 9th place in September or maybe October, he has to go then immediately.
This is why I said earlier 15 games. I said 15 games.
15 games. Yeah, I mean, I think that's even a lot, to be honest. it is what it is, right? I mean, when you cut your losses, like we know they're not sacking him tomorrow. They're not going to sack him after Madrid. If anything, they'll praise him after Madrid.
Watch the transfer window. This is what I tell everybody. Just watch the transfer window. The transfer window will tell you a lot. That's going to tell you a lot, man.
And I guess Berta's come out, man, and said that we are, looking at Gyökeres. Like he mentioned him by name, is what I read. So
if we get anybody less than Gyökeres, I'm going to lose it. Sorry,
right.
Like, because we're past that point now,
as well.
We're done. We're done with this
because we're past
Sesko.
If we were in the Europa League, okay, you know what? We might have
Sesko, I'm going to lose it again. Sorry, keep going, man.
We're talking like challenging for stuff. We're supposed to be challenging for stuff, and we don't have any more time for project players. We don't have any more time for that. We need proven, ready to go, no excuses. And he's going to have to learn. I've said this week. He's going to have to learn in order for him to become a better manager, in order for him to succeed in the world of football as a manager, in order for him to win trophies and experience a high level of success, he's going to have to learn to get players and deal with players who have attitudes in the team. He's going to have to learn that. He's not going to always be able to get players bowing down to him,
right,
and worshiping at the feet of Arteta. He's going to have to learn. He's going to have some dudes that just don't really give a damn what he has to say. On Saturday, my job is to go score goals. That's what I get paid to do. I hear what you're saying about all of these lemons and juices and crackers. I could care less. I just need to go play the game of football.
Yeah, there's
spot on.
There, the amount of arrogance it takes to think that you're above the attitudes of some of these players that are getting paid $200K a week to go out there and kick a ball and do it well. Like, look, and Mikel Arteta, his football career wasn't that great. So where does this come from? Like, where does this like supreme confidence in yourself come from to be like, you know what? No, I don't need somebody like Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang in his prime. I don't need a profile of player like Lacazette who could actually score a goal from the 9 position. I don't need, an Osimhen. I don't need a Gyökeres. What are you talking about?
Right.
It is glaring. The fan base has been crying out for it for 3, excuse my language, fucking years.
Yeah.
Like you have like it's one piece of the puzzle, and this is why I'm excited about BERTA again. Is that there has to be a challenge, there has to be a thing.
Oh,
hey, you
muted yourself. You hit your mic.
Yeah, there you go. Well, he had it.
Are we good?
Yeah,
this stupid thing disconnects every so often. I need to get a new mic. Anyway, no. So the last thing I'm going to say here on this is, look, we need somebody to challenge this manager. We need somebody to come in here and give us a signing club for the future, or that is going to take us into the future. I don't care what his profile is. I don't give a shit. Can you score goals at a high level? Okay?
What?
Sign it. I'm not talking about Sesko. I'm not talking about Sesko. I don't want another project from Germany or Austria or wherever the fuck he's from. I don't care. I don't need it.
And I'll throw this out there too, for the replay watchers. Hey, bro, Nico Williams better not be the only signing this summer.
Ooh,
Nico Williams better not be the only signing this summer.
Dude, no.
We're not going to deal with that either. This one big marquee sign. Nope. We need multiple marquee signings this summer.
I think we need, to be honest, I think we need 2 strikers. We need Gyökeres. If we get a Gyökeres in, I have no problem bringing in a Sesko, right?
Well,
but I'm not going to base everything off a 22-year-old striker who's done, fuck all really, on all of Europe. Again, I was like, what are the priorities of Arteta? Is it to build players and build a portfolio of your career, or is it to win trophies at the club you're at? And I've always questioned him for that, right? Because the Calafiori signing means that, I'm more into building up a left back than I am actually getting the proper players we need to win something now. And I'm tired of that attitude. I'm sick and tired of that fucking attitude.
100%, bro.
And it's like Kai Havertz, The guy's 25 years old. He doesn't
sell him. I'd sell him.
I would sell him, dude. If PSG came in for 80 grand, let's say 80 grand for 80 mil for Odegaard, I know for Havertz, but I'm going to switch it to Odegaard. He's not worth it, but Odegaard possibly is in the European market.
Right? You might be able to get for 45 to 60 million for
Havertz, right? But for Odegaard, if PSG come in, Matty, for 80, 85 grand, he's fucking gone, right? That's the thing. And the problem is if 80, 85 came in for Saliba, I think they'd take it. But if it came in for Odegaard, they'd say no. Right? That's the kind of crap. I'm sick of this manager, and I'm hoping BERTA can change Arteta's thinking and the valuation of some of these players as well.
I'm glad you said that because I wanted to say this, but I'm going to tell you like this. BERTA is highly upset over this Magalhaes deal because
dude, he's getting paid.
He just possibly cost the football club $100 million.
Yeah,
for Magalhaes. He cost the football club. He cost us $100 million because people are like, I don't think he was going. I think there was a high possibility that we sold him and picked up 2 or 3 players. And now that he's out, guess what?
Bro, they're offering him, I think in Saudi, I read 600 grand a week. That is fucking insane amount of money.
I'd go too.
Bro.
I'd go.
Hey, man.
$2 million
generational wealth.
Bro.
Oh, dude,
untaxed.
Untaxed. 600 grand a week to play in a fucking 10th rate league. But you get summers in Dubai. Or anywhere you want, right?
It would bother me one lick. It would bother me one
right?
lick.
As long as you ain't smoking weed and spitting gum on the sidewalk, you'll be okay.
Yep.
Yeah, as long as you're well, it didn't apply to Ronaldo, but as long as you're married, you can live with your bird.
Right. Mike Grealish may have that same deal.
Put a ring on it, Gabrielle, and then go out to Saudi, my bro. Like, dude,
good thing Gabrielle's already married.
Yeah, and look, all I'm saying is it. He's our best player. So watching him go is
the Arsenal way.
He's a leader. He's a leader. But here's what should make you rest easy, guys, is that Arsenal are not that team to sell high. We're not. We never have been.
BERTA is the man, but BERTA is the man that sells high.
I hope you're right. If it means that we're going to bring in other talent in other areas, I hope you're right.
Arsenal, we don't sell high. I mean, Aaron proved that like 3 weeks ago with a $350 negative balance sheet because we're getting.
Emil Smith Rowe is our highest outgoing ever.
That's crazy.
Barely out earning Oxlade-Chamberlain.
That's nuts, dude.
We had Henry here. We had Vieira here.
Fabregas.
Go and look at them side by side. Fabregas. Like it goes on. Sanchez
for cash from fucking Mkhitaryan.
Dude, we let Auba go on a free. We terminated the deal.
Top scorer in Europa League history of Aubameyang.
We're allergic.
We let the top scorer in Europa League history go for free. And he went and scored 12 goals at Barcelona in his first 3 weeks.
Scored 2 goals. There. Fucking 2 goals at the Bernabeu in his first 2 weeks.
Yep. Yeah. For Barca.
What are we doing here, dude? It's in our blood, bro.
They've asked Auba the 20 questions. I've seen the podcast. What do you think of this manager? And they brought up Arteta, and I think he said too. What did he say? Too controlling. And then he said, okay, what another man? And then they said Klopp, and he's like, oh, genius. And he said some other manager that Aubameyang was worked for. He's like, oh, fucking genius. But for Arteta, I think he said like the too controlling.
Yeah,
it says it all. It's too much of a controlled system, and I don't mind system football to a point, but there comes a point where you're looking at it. You have to look at it so critically and think that we're going to the fucking heritage hallmark of football in the next in 3 weeks, right? We're going to the crown prince of football, and here we are with our CDM or our left mid playing striker. And that doesn't really concern him. Like, that's the thing, bro. It's like,
Yeah.
The system is broken down. You have to let players express themselves, but you got to let the players play in the right positions.
Yeah.
It's just
We
like,
sent Aiden Evans to United for $1 million here to there. We sent him to United for $1 million, and he's better than half of their center backs.
yeah, Bereth. Like, yeah, they're going to buy Bereth.
Bereth is another example, but we're selling kids for market value, and they're going into these. I didn't know our academy was this good. They're going into these teams and actually cooking. At United, Evan looked good.
Right?
He looked
if the
good.
academy is that good, TJ, I want to see them all fucking tomorrow at 4:30 a.m. Then if they're that good, they can play Everton's first team because Everton are fucking 18th or 17th in the league. I don't know where they're at, but I know Tottenham's 14th. So
yeah,
I think
Everton are 15th.
I think Tottenham is 16th actually.
Oh Jesus!
So they've lost 16. Tottenham has lost 16 games this season. Let that sink in. So it could be worse. But the thing is that we're here to talk about them, right? We're here to talk about us and our future. And I believe you, Maddie. I'm here to back Arteta too, right? I mean, I want the success. I don't want him for 22 years, but I want him to leave a mark. I want him to put some trophies in the fucking cabinet.
If BERTA comes in here and this manager humbles himself, which I know he ain't, but I'm just speaking hypothetical. If he humbles himself and improves, I'm all for it. But if it's more of the same shit going into next season, then he needs to be removed. Like I said, he needs to be removed now. But I just realistically, he needs to be removed next season. He needs to be removed.
Right. I mean, that's the thing. It comes like if we finish, if God forbid we finish third, because let's not forget Forest are 4 points behind it.
That's still in play.
Right. And then our misfortunes that'll probably happen in the Champions League. Why don't we sack them then and there?
I think you know what, Dale, I think that's in play. Because if we were
the season,
I think if we end up in third, I think we end up either in third. Yeah, and because I think mathematically, I think that's about far as we can go now. I think that's
fourth is way far down.
I think if we finish third, Forest finish 6 or more points ahead of us, we get flogged against Madrid. Yeah, I think it's on the table. I do. I think it's on the table because see, that's all.
But will they pull the trigger, Matty? Will the Cronkies pull the trigger in July and June?
I think. You know what I do think? I tell you what I do think. And this is the honest to God truth. I think that BERTA would have had a discussion about it with the Cronkies. I think there will be murmurings of, I think we made
time
one.
to look on.
Yeah, because I think Simeone has an 80 million buyout for his manager.
That's a lot. 80 million is a crazy amount for a buyout. But look at the teams. I mean, I know we're going to jump off here soon, but look at the teams he's built at Atletico, like TJ was saying earlier in the show. 9 years. They brought Griezmann back. From fucking Barcelona.
Well, he got Suarez for chicken shit.
Yeah. Look at the left back, Ronaldo. What's his name? Simeone praised him. I've heard last week. Says Ronaldo, their left back, is like the most complete player he's ever had. He's 30 years old.
What I am looking at when I see BERTA is Julian Alvarez. That's all I'm looking at. He saw a player at Man City and he went out and fucking got him.
Rodrigo de Paul. As much as I hate that guy, it's a fucking rat. So he's a great player. That's the player I hate that guy. That's the player we need to replace Odegaard, right? Someone who can move the ball up the pitch, can bump into players, shoulder them off, kick them in the knee when they're not looking, right? Yeah. You have to have some ferocity about you. And Rodrigo de Paul, I'm not saying he's the end-all and be-all, but that's the type of player I want out of Odegaard. Gone are the speedy number 10s that flick and tricks and shit. I mean, you have Hugo Almeida that can do that. You have Isco that can do that. But the 5'5" diminutive number 10 is done. It's done. They get pushed off the ball, and it doesn't work. No soft players. Exactly, Coleman.
You remember. Now we talking NFL. I'm going to talk NFL now for our chat.
Boy.
Y'all remember old what's his name? He used to play for Detroit Lions, old Sue. You remember Sue?
Oh yeah, not coming down, Sue. Yeah.
He was an asshole. He was a certified asshole.
Dude fucking on folks,
falling on folks, holding folks, biting. I think he was biting at one time, biting people.
Yep. He was a mean player.
Yeah, I mean, you need that in the team. Arsenal had somebody like that last time. I mean, you got
like him in the back of the fucking ankle.
Yeah. You got to. That's what we like, and we got too many church boys, man.
He's Grand High School, Northeast Portland born, bro. He's from Portland.
They're all boys though. That's the culture though now, Matt. Is that they're all friends. You know what I mean? They're all friends now. You're not gonna have Fabio Vieira and Keane getting in a fight in the tunnel anymore. You're never gonna see that again.
Right. You don't think like Gabriel started talking to Vinny and Rodrigo?
Like, yeah, dude, you saw Leno. Yeah, and this is the last point of you saw Leno dapping up half the team and he hasn't played for us in 2 years.
So you saw what Soccer did. Soccer ran over there and hugged the play in the middle of the game. I said, look at this shit right here.
He hugged Will Smith Rowe as he was running out.
Right, it's like, hey, how much you getting paid a week, bro? 150? Ah, bro, I'm like 130.
Oh, shit. Okay, yeah, I'll see you in Dubai, bro. Anyway, all right, guys.
Then we'll hit Dubai and we'll get the misses together, right? Yes, exactly. It's all fucking money and bullshit. Great show, TJ.
What a great fucking show, guys. Big up, Maddie, Southern Gooner. Matt, shout yourself out, man, as usual. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, no problem, man. I always got to be with my American brothers. Southern Gooner here on YouTube. I may hop on with Lee tonight if he sends out the link. If not, I will. I'm possibly looking at doing something Sunday with some of the guys, and we'll see how that goes. But other than that, man, I'll be on with Diluted at some point next week. And of course, the Real Talk
DG
Monday, man.
Yeah, we gotta get him on, TJ. We gotta get DJ.
Dude, if I could get his info, I will.
Maddie,
I'll pull Eddie Guerrero. I will cheat, lie, and steal to get that guy on the show. He's been in the chat a bunch.
So. I've been in his chat.
I got you, man. Don't worry, we got you. We'll make it happen.
We'll get Diluted on.
Right. Yeah, but absolutely. All right, Maddie, the Southern Gooner. The link is in the title. People, go if you live under a rock. And you haven't subscribed to Southern Gooner, go over there and do that now. Dal, great show.
Fantastic.
Guys, the match reaction for tomorrow is tentative. We'll see if I can bring myself to wake up to watch. I may look at that lineup and turn my phone over and go back to sleep. Who knows?
What if Martinelli's up front?
If Martinelli's up front, I'm gonna get up like the Manchurian Candidate and come over to the freaking. Anyway, all right, guys, we're gonna redirect over to Football Carnage TV. Go over there and say Will with an L, double L's, because Will is a loser. TJ Warren TV raid. We will see you next time.
You don't have the answers, DJ.
Do you have the answer?
You don't have the answer.
Tony, do you
don't have the answer.
You don't have
DJ.
the answer either.
You don't have the answer.